Jim, on the topic of CM Punk, one last question about him here. This was sent to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Cam Domaski in Westmoreland County,
Oh, you are
Pennsylvania.
just making all of these. It's really all from Charlie, isn't it?
Cam Domaski, Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania.
All right, Gene Kaniski, what do you got to ask?
The verified Instagram account of CM Punk shared a photo from an account named No Context Corny. In this post, Jim is in a comic with the Hulk and the Thing behind him, with Jim saying, "It's clobbering time, motherfuckers." CM Punk tagged Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler above the Hulk and the Thing. What are Jim's thoughts on this? And has he seen this fan-made comic?
Well,
a lot of people have sent.
I know, and yes, and I saw it on Twitter. I've seen that artwork from a year or two ago, and actually saved it when somebody sent it to me before. And yes, as you said, apparently Punk retweeted this or re-Instagrammed this or whatever the descriptive verb over there is, of me, and it's me in front saying it's clobbering time with Hulk and Thing, because I think we had even done one of these questions a few years ago where who were my favorite Marvel characters, and I like the guys that could be wrestlers, the Hulk and the Thing and shit like that. And yes, Punk's trying to stir people up, and that's fine. It's a nice piece of artwork. I appreciate the sentiment. I don't know that I will be leading them into its clobbering time anytime in the near future, but it got people talking about it.
What do you think's going to happen? You think we're going to see Punk and FTR and AEW in a few months?
Well, now the thing that came up with, and we've talked about it briefly on The Experience, and more people have commented on it since then, Tony Khan, or the AEW account, thanked everybody in the company that won a Wrestling Observer Award, the prestigious Observy Award, except for FTR, who were, placed in Tag Team of the Year and Match of the Year and all this stuff. That's either one of two things. It's either a slap in the face because whatever nerd runs their social media is a nerd friend of the nerd EVPs, or it's a reason for Dax and Cash to show back up on television and go, hey, what the fuck? One of those two things would account for that. I can't think. Stupidity might be the number 3 accounter, and otherwise I can't come up with a reason. So we'll know at some point whether they're just stupid or assholes and ignored FTR on purpose like they have the whole time they've worked there, or if it's the start of something that would see FTR and or CM Punk come back in the company. And they've got a brilliant chance to draw some money based on the legitimate ill will and bad feelings and the real fight that did happen. But then I think this is one of those things where it's one of those matches people want to see in their head more than they actually do when it happens, because you would think, okay, they could make a ton of money off this 6-man tags with Kenny and the Buckaroos, where the people believe they really want to fight and hurt and kill each other and they hate each other.
Hey, not even just 6-man tags. In between those matches, Punk versus Nick Jackson, Punk versus Matt Jack, any of those matches are intriguing.
Well, they are when you think about it, until you realize what they'd look like. And then you would realize that neither Kenny nor the Buckaroos have ever placed any importance whatsoever on or are able to pull off making their shit look legitimate. They do all the flippy flying stuff, but the Jacksons couldn't whip cream with an outboard motor, couldn't whip a cat in a paper bag without getting fur in their mouth. And this would need to look real, and it would need to look like a fight, and there would need to be some blood and some fucking violence and mayhem. And then you'd have that visual of the two little Buckaroos trying to fight a couple of grown men, and Kenny would be trying to hop and skip and prance and somebody else would be taking him down, trying to pull his eyeball out. They can't work like that. They cannot do it. And nobody would believe in, especially the Bucks. I know Kenny is supposedly trained in MMA. I think his just soft, weak psyche would not be able to make him present an imposing physical presence. But nobody's going to believe that the Buckaroos can be in any kind of fight with any kind of grown men. And Punk may have not won in the UFC, but goddamn, he went through the camps and he did it. So that includes the Buckaroos out, as they used to say. So do you think they could carry it off in the ring where with the first time the people saw it, anticipating they were going to see a knockdown, drag-out fight, would they be disappointed when the Buckaroos especially couldn't look legitimate? And one more thing, and then you can answer it. Besides that, would the Bucks be so scared that they were going to potentially accidentally potato Punk that their shit would look rotten anyway, because they would know that if he thought they were taking liberties, that he would take them down and fucking stretch them right there.
Potato him right away, get it out of the way so everything else feels better after that point.
But then if he just beat the shit out of him like he did last time, that match wouldn't produce very well for the ticket purchasing patrons.
I was just reading a quote from Cody. I think it must have been in a recent interview where he was talking about different visions for AEW and how he wanted JCP. He wanted Jim Crockett Promotions and big angles and big promos. And the Bucks and Omega wanted Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. That didn't work for Cody, not even coexisting in their universe. They had two different worlds on that TV show. If you take someone from the serious wrestling side, like a Cody, or in this case CM Punk, and you put him in with the guys who only want to do their thing, I think you're probably right. It's one of those things I remember saying years ago to someone from Epic Records, I really wish the Clash would reunite. And he said, no, you don't. It wouldn't be what you're visualizing in your head. It just wouldn't be that.
Yeah.
And this may be a case just like that.
That's one of the lessons you got to learn, is that sometimes even a match that the fans would want to see, if it's going to be as ugly as a goddamn pair of bowling shoes, you don't put it on because they get let down and everybody in the match comes out looking worse in their eyes than they did going into start, because something about those two individuals or opposing forces doesn't click with each other. It's apples and oranges, or peanut butter and fucking ice cream.